Alright, so today we're going to talk about negotiating a lease. So when it comes to negotiating a lease, you got several different factors you got to consider. It's more than what's on this board, but I'm trying to give you a quick dose of some of the things you need to look out for when you get your first deal. So dollars per square foot. You got to think about how many dollars a square foot they want for the building, for the rent, and then how many dollars a square foot they want for common area maintenance, taxes, fees. So once you know what that number is, if it's a, let's say, 1,000 square foot building, $10 a foot, $2 can, that's 12 times the size of the building, 12,000 divided by 12 months, that's $1,000. That's what your rent, common area maintenance, and taxes will be. Now typically in a lease, the way that the language is structured, the owner of the building has insurance, but they want you as a tenant to have an insurance policy also, which usually most shopping centers, the industry standard is $1 million and $2 million aggregate. So you have to get with your insurance agent to find out how much that's going to cost. So you're going to need that in order to get possession of the building, for them to give you the key so you can start construction. All right. Now you know you got to start some construction. So free rent. Free rent also is something you can ask for. Now most landlords will not offer it unless the place has been vacant for a long time. What I typically do is ask for more than what I want. So if you want 6 months of free rent, ask for 8. You know, if you want 6 months, if you want 4 months, ask for 6. And typically they're usually countered with what you wanted. So it's a little bit of negotiation going on there. So 6 months free rent. So that's another thing. Now, how long has it been vacant? What I do is I typically go to other tenants in the shopping center and ask, hey, how long has that space been empty? And they'll tell you the truth. It's been empty for 1 week or 6 months or 2 years. And now you know how much bargaining power you actually have with that landlord. Like it's been vacant for 2 years, they haven't made any money, they'll take whatever I offer most likely. So that kind of lets you know. So how long has it been vacant? You want to know that before you start talking to them. Tenant improvement allowance, that also factors into how long it's been vacant. Because let's say it was a restaurant and you want to make a barbershop. We got to tear out all these hoods and ventilation systems and plumbing and stuff. So we got to take all that out of there. That's going to cost money. It could be a $40,000 project by the time you demo this place and rebuild it. So you can ask the landlord, hey, can I have a tenant improvement allowance to get the space up to a white box standard? So white box is the industry term for what a brand new space looks like. It's just a white box. So white box, you get it there. Some landlords will say, we'll give you $10,000. That number is usually figured on the size of the building. So I had a space that was 1,400 square feet. They gave me a $15,000 allowance to improve it. Okay, so that helps you out because you don't have to spend all of your money to renovate the space. However, you need to negotiate how that is going to be issued to you, because some landlords will say, okay, you have to spend your money first and we'll cut you a check once you build it. And the other ones will cut you the check at the beginning. So you want to negotiate or find out how they're going to offer it, and then you can counter with how you want it paid to you. Barriers to entry, that typically can be anything from zoning to is it going to be some major construction happening where you can't get in and out of the shopping center? So what I should have put is ingress and egress. So you got to think, how easy is it to enter into the shopping center? How easy is it to exit out? So let's think, for the people that are from Charleston, Best Buy shopping center. Easy to get in, terrible to get out. Takes 45 minutes to get out of that shopping center. Very bad design on the egress. But the ingress, you can get in there easily. So barriers to entry, there may be, a barrier to entry could be another business of the same kind or a similar kind that has an exclusive. So me, since I'm a barbershop owner, sometimes you see great clips, sport clips in the shopping center. They typically have an exclusive, which brings us into that. That's a barrier to entry. You can't get into the plaza because they're there. Now, great clips typically doesn't cut African American clients, but they have an exclusive and they don't want anything of any hair kind ever in there with them. That's just the way they write their language. So an exclusive basically gives you the option that if another tenant comes, hey, you want to put a salon here, you can say no, and the landlord can't let them in there. Now you may pay a little more rent to have that, but that's very good It just protects your investment and your interest, okay? So exclusives, you definitely want to ask for that. And also, in my case, I had a barbershop on the corner of Ashford Phosphate and Dorchester Road, and I actually had one of my stylists in my shop rent a space in the same plaza as me, 10 doors down. So an exclusive would have protected me from that happening. So once that happened, any other project I did, I negotiated exclusive rights to be in that plaza, and no other business of my kind can be in it. So that's something you definitely want to do. Starting your business. Ownership change. You want the ability to get out of the lease if you want to, if the building gets sold. And that whoever is taking over the building has to honor the same terms that you were under. You want all that written out. Because typically, once it changes hands, it's no longer theirs. So they can be like, we don't have to honor that because we didn't agree to that. So we're gonna let you ride out the rest of this lease. But if you had, like in my case, I had negotiated my rent for 20 years. I had 4 5-year options to renew my lease. So that's something else I didn't put on here. But I had 4 5-year options. I was coming up on the end of the first option. Time to go into the next one. So the new landlord did not have to honor the options. They only had to honor the current lease that I was in. So instead of me paying the $1,200 I was supposed to pay, they took the rent up to $1,723. I was supposed to go, it goes up in 3% increments on average. The average lease is 3%. So while we're on that, let's say your lease is supposed to go up 3% every year, and that's the industry standard. So you can ask, okay, can my lease stay the same for the first 2 years and then the 3% start in year 3? And typically what I'll do when I ask for free rent, if I'm asking for a 5-year term, well, I'll ask the landlord, how, what's the minimum time I can get it? Most of them will say 3 years. So if they say 3 years, I'll say I'll do a 5-year term, but give me 6 months free, and then put the 6 months on the back end, which means your lease is 5 years and 6 months. So they still get their 5 years worth of money. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do. And in that, I'll negotiate 3% to start around year 3. Okay, so ownership change, you definitely want to protect yourself there so that they gotta honor whatever you negotiated, okay? And you want to lawyer up, and you want to have an accountant on deck. Here's why. You want to lawyer up so that they can read all of that legalese on that lease, because some of my leases have been 40 pages of gibberish that we don't understand. So you want to have your lawyer look at it, catch all of that gibberish, because it's written to benefit the landlord, not you. So you definitely want to have another set of eyes that doesn't have the emotional attachment that you have, because you're emotionally attached, because I want to put a business there, I just think it'll be great. But the lawyer is not emotionally attached. So they're going to tell you yay or nay, or change this, change that. And so have your lawyer go through and mark it with a marker and change whatever you want, and then submit that back to the landlord. And then the landlord will either counter with something or agree to the changes. So you want to lawyer up. That's why you want to do that. But they can catch all of the BS. Then you need an accountant so that you can put your business in a corporate entity, an LLC, an S corp, whatever is in your best interest. Now, once they establish your LLC or S corp or whatever you choose to do, it brings you up to here: a personal guarantee versus a corporate guarantee. When you first start a business, you typically don't have business credit, so you're gonna have to personally guarantee every lease you sign at the beginning. But once you get some type of business credit, or you have so many locations, you can actually start putting the business or the leases in your corporate name. So my corporation is Cut Bar LLC, and then we have Barbers Inc. LLC. So basically, we put the businesses in the corporation name. So if they pull my credit, I don't have 4 shopping centers on my credit. I only got like 1. So those are things you definitely need to know when negotiating your lease and how to go about it. If you have any more questions, you can contact me. Contact information will be at the end of the video.